Hey there, I want to welcome you to another Rise of the 1% podcast episode, and I am G Bass. And on today's Rise of the 1% podcast episode, I have on today's show, founder of Cox and Company, Mrs. Kim Cox Owens. Absolutely. Glad to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. So, Kim, let's start from the beginning. Let's tell the audience where you're from.
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. All right. Now, let's talk a little bit about your upbringing coming up in Atlanta. Start from the beginning.
So I am like a third generation Atlantean. My parents attended Atlanta public schools. I attended Atlanta public schools. My grandparents are from Metro Atlanta as well. So I've been around before it was a 85, 285, 20, and 75. When you was going down Highway 85.
Okay. But where did you go to grade school?
So I went to school on the west side, mainly in Ben Hill.
Okay.
But I graduated from DM Thera High School in 1991.
1991.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. And when you graduated, you went on to college.
Yes, I attended the Alabama A&M University in Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay.
Known as The Hill.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. What did you take up at Alabama A&M?
So I was a political science major with a minor in criminal justice, and my intent was to become a juvenile prosecuting attorney because I was going to save the world, save the kids.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What had you have that interest in terms of going to college for that?
Well, growing up, I actually grew up more in Pittsburgh or Southwest Atlanta still, but more closer to downtown Atlanta.
Absolutely.
And that was in the 80s, early to mid 80s, and I kept seeing a lot of young boys going to jail. And I was like, okay, well, if I was the one to decide what type of sentence they'll get, I can help them out. So that made me want to become a prosecuting attorney, which I am not a prosecuting attorney.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. And, well, we'll get into what you did after college in a second, but in Alabama A&M, so you're AK, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated in 95.
Okay. All right.
So I just celebrated my 30th. Anniversary.
30th anniversary.
AKA,
All right,
and
congratulations.
I am a life member.
There you go. I love it. Okay, great stuff. So, what happened, Kim, after you graduated from college?
So my intentions was to go into law school. I applied to Georgia State probably not even 5 years after Georgia State Law School had started. So Georgia State had just gotten the okay from the state of Georgia to have a law school. And I was told that I was too young. So I graduated from college at 21. I actually graduated in 3 years from college.
Right stuff.
And they was like, yeah, you might want to, do grad school or something and come back. So I got caught up in going to work. I went and worked for in the mortgage industry. I worked for the state of Georgia with the Department of Community Affairs. I did that probably like a year and a half, 2 years, and I found out I'm not meant to work for anyone. So
let me stop you there, Kim. What exactly were you doing with the Department of Community Affairs? What were you doing there?
So with that, I worked with their first-time home buyers program called Georgia Dream.
Okay.
And I handled the customer service side of it when you first get your loan. I was the person that verified all the stuff from the closing attorney, all your legal paperwork was correct to make sure that we was holding your mortgage legally. Okay. Because Georgia Dream has a mortgage company. The state of Georgia has a mortgage company called State Home Mortgage. Okay. That holds those mortgages.
Okay. All right. And what was the discovery that made you say, I don't want to work for anyone else?
So they had a position for Department of Community Affairs. So Georgia Department of Community Affairs, DCA, was the name of the agency that I was working for, government agency I was working for. They had a position for you to be a regional advisor to the local government. And I applied to be that in Noonan, Georgia, because my grandmother was from Noonan, Georgia. So I was like, I'm gonna go to Noonan, Georgia. I feel comfortable, living there.
Okay.
And I didn't get the position. I was like, how could I not get the position? I know I'm highly qualified. I was already active in the community.
Right.
And so I went up to the commissioner's office, the commissioner of the Department of Community Affairs. I went up to his office and I told him, why didn't I get the position? I know that I'm qualified and I can represent this area. My family's from this area. He was like, 1, you didn't go to the University of Georgia. 2, I gave it to my friend's daughter.
Oh, wow.
That went to the University of Georgia.
University of Georgia.
So, those dogs are very important to Georgia.
I see.
I was a bulldog, but it didn't count.
Well, okay.
So after that, I just started really feeling like I was being harassed and watched. They was like, you go to the bathroom, let us know, because you shouldn't just be able to walk in the commissioner's office. I was like, who are you to tell me where I can walk?
Yeah.
And so I started looking for other opportunities. And I ended up being a processor for a mortgage company. I just looked up the nearest mortgage company to me. And I ended up being a processor for them. And then I became basically self-employed as a loan officer for that same mortgage company.
Okay. Great stuff. Great stuff. Okay. All right. So with let's talk a little bit about what you was doing in regards to a loan officer for an audience that might be tuning in. Like, what exactly were you doing as a loan officer?
So a loan officer is the person that actually helps you get the loan.
Right.
So I would say your loan officer is like your attorney and the underwriter is the judge. I have to prepare all your financial document to create a low risk for that underwriter to say, yes, we will accept this risk. So that's what a loan officer is. They're just the person that create a scenario for you that says, I'm low risk, you should invest in me and give me this loan.
Gotcha.
So I was that person, the loan officer.
Okay. Right stuff. How long was you a loan officer?
Probably about 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
3-4 years.
All right.
Yeah.
So what happened after you was a loan officer for 3 years? What was next?
Then I started paying attention to what the commission was for a real estate agent. Because I would see that I had to read the documents, what we call a settlement statement, and I kept seeing these nice checks, and I was working real hard as a loan officer to get half of what that commission check was. So I decided to go to real estate school, get my license, and I was a loan officer when I became a real estate agent, and I was doing both sides.
Okay. All right. Great stuff. Talk about the beginning days of becoming a real estate agent. How was that? What was the experience and...
Well, Atlanta was booming. I'm just out of college. I was 24 when I started as a real estate agent. So I was always networking in the community. I already was volunteering in the community. All my friends were at that age where they were getting married, having kids, and buying real estate. So my name was out there. I knew I always make sure I'm on top of my game as far as knowledge and knowing my business.
Okay.
So I took extra courses to make sure that I knew more than the next person. And by the fact that I used to be a loan officer and now I'm a real estate agent, I know both sides.
Yeah. Right stuff.
Skilled negotiator. So I was the only black female in my office when I first started as a mortgage lender. And when I became a real estate agent, I started off with a very small self-owned real estate company. Then I moved to the new construction. I didn't like that because you kind of like 9 to 5 when you work new construction. And then I moved into working for a larger, well-known national real estate company. And after I saw what they were collecting from me, I started my own.
There you go. All right. So the year that you started Cox & Company, what year was that?
So I started Cox & Company 2005. I was at home pregnant with my second child. And it was like, you got to sit in bed. And I was like, I'll sit in bed and do real estate courses. So I took my broker's course and started Cox & Company in 2005.
Okay.
So we just celebrated our 21st anniversary.
Congratulations. Absolutely. I love it. Okay. Let's talk about when you first started the company. Kim, the experience when you first started the company, like, how was that when starting the company? Let's talk maybe about some of the challenges you may have had, to, of course, any successes. And then I know you say you started in 2005 and you had 2008, which was a few years later, and we know what happened around that time. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah. So when I first started my real estate company, I mean, I was already coming from another company. So I just brought, first of all, my clients to my company and already had like a referral base and everything like that. All I needed to know was what was the process to start the company. To me, it wasn't that hard to start a company. It's harder to actually maintain a company, keeping up with the legalities of recording escrow accounts and making sure your agents take all the classes they need to take to keep their license and also beneficial to you, as well as being able to report to the commissioner things that they request every year. Because I'm a very detailed person, anal in some parts, so I was always on top of my paperwork, making sure that. Now, of course, when 2005 is really when the bubble started bursting, I saw that prices were increasing. They were out of control. You can get a dead dog a loan, a mortgage loan. I knew then that something was going on. I've always been involved in politics. Like I said, my major in college was political science. So I always knew what was going on at the Capitol in order to know what was going on in real estate. So ahead of the game, I knew it, and we started having a lot more agents that were attending open houses. They were having time for that, and I was like, okay, something is wrong.
Yeah,
we're about to have a problem. So by 2007, loans were failing. Loans were failing. People were going into short sale and foreclosure, or what some people call pre-foreclosure. At that point, I knew I had to adjust what I was doing. So I started actually doing foreclosure counseling. So I became a HUD certified counselor to counsel people who were going into foreclosure. And then I got a contract where I was helping people that were having short sales, which is pre-foreclosure. Helping those people that now were losing their homes to be able to get out of their home with the least amount of hit to their credit, because they're selling their houses for a discounted amount just to get out, offering under it, which caused them to be able to buy another house, in a shorter period of time.
Okay. So you pivoted pretty much.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And that's what real estate, with the real estate industry, is based on what's going on in our world. Like real estate leads everything. Like the stock market, it leads the stock market.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. So over these last years of running Cox & Company, Kim, how's things been going with the business? As well as over these last years, have there been any challenges or anything new that's taken place in real estate that you may want to speak on over these last years?
Yeah, so I'm sure we've had probably about 2 or 3 pivots in real estate. The market is forever changing, and you really have to keep up with where we are in the market. So when COVID hit, so we had the bubble burst, and then after that was COVID.
Right.
So COVID, I was for sure that we were about to go under. Like, people are not going to be buying a house. They can't even get outside. Well, a lovely surprise was the market boomed after that. I know why, but I'm not going to say why.
Yeah.
But a lot of people had extra money.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people had extra money.
Yeah.
And so they bought more real estate. And because you got more money need to be spent. So prices went up. So now my commission check go up and I sell more houses.
Yeah.
So when 2020 hit, I probably stopped working for 3 weeks. And then after that, I put on gloves and footies and masks, and I went and continued to show houses. And a lot more people were buying and were able to buy because they had extra money.
There you go.
Yeah. So and now that market, we're coming off of that market. Now prices are starting to settle. They're not going up like they were. They're starting to settle, and unfortunately, we are starting to see foreclosures because of tax values are going up. Insurance to insure the homes are going up. So people that are not quite aware of their escrow account found out that your payment can go up if your insurance and your taxes go up, and it's out of budget, and it's causing them to go into short sale and foreclosure.
Oh man, I hate to hear that. Yeah. So you would say right now it's pretty much a buyer's market?
Yes, it is a buyer's market. Interest rates have went down a little bit. When I first started in the business, interest rates was 11%. So when they got to 6%, it was unrealistic. But when they got to 4 and 2%, I was like, yeah, this is not real. Like, this is not a real market. Right now, we're back at that 6%, and I think that's where we're going to stay because that's more realistic. So you still have an increase in ability for buyers to buy. You are introducing new buyers coming in. Of course, the kids that are graduating from college right now in certain fields are making 3 times more than what we made when I came out of college. So they're able to buy more. You know, so we are having still some buyers, but the sellers can't move as much. So we don't have high inventory right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and you have so many options right now for people to rent properties that look like home ownership. And I really think this new generation does not like to commit as much. So then they don't want to commit to having a 30-year and here lately about a 50-year mortgage.
Right. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, more people renting.
Yeah, they are. More people are renting.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, let me ask you this, Kim. Can you talk a little bit about the process, though, of someone that's looking to buy their first home? If they was looking to buy, like someone that may be looking at this podcast, if they're looking to purchase their first home, what are some things they may need to have in order, and what some of the steps in that process looks like?
Well, right now, I actually volunteer with United Way doing home buyers classes, helping people that are transitioning in housing. And my recommendation would be first to do a home buyers class. Okay. So that way you can be educated and you can advocate for yourself. Like, don't have a total reliance on anybody in the process. Like, at least take a home buyers class so you can know what the process is. But that would be my first step. Take a home buyers class. Okay. And then after that, check your financing. Create a budget, an active budget with active saving. Lenders love to see that you're saving your money. So adjust your budget, adjust your habits, your spending habits, because a house also include repairs, also include your payment can go up because of your taxes and insurance. So creating a budget that allows you to take care of a house just like you would take care of a child. It can be expensive. Yeah, blinds cost a lot of money. Yeah. You know, you may want to paint. Even if you have a new construction, you may want a picture on the wall. So adjusting your budget for your home, creating new financial habits. Yep. And then the most important thing right now that I'm advocating for is not only you doing your budget, but also make a plan for after you're in your home and how you're going to transfer this generational wealth. But I'll get to that next. So then the next step is you've got to go to a lender and you have to prove that you're financially capable of buying a house. That means your pay stub, bank statements, W-2s, all of that has to add up to a good risk for the lender. So before you go to a lender, go ahead and get those paperworks out. Know how to get your pay stub. Know how to get your W-2. Know how to pull your taxes. And have that already in a PDF, one PDF preferably, and be able to send that to the lender or upload it in an online application. Shop around before you even let a lender pull your credit and see who's giving the best rates, what kind of benefits you have from your company, your 401k to use it as a down payment, and understand how much money you need to purchase a house. And in most cases, you need to have at least 4% of whatever you buy. So if you are buying a $100,000 house, then you need to have $4,000 saved up. Same thing with $200,000. You need $8,000 saved up. So have 4% of your the cost of the house saved up. And be ready to pay it out. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. Great stuff. Great stuff. Okay. All right. And let me ask you this, Kim, a business owner. If they're a business owner, let's say that they're not on W-2, what's the process normally for a business owner looking to purchase a home?
So with a business owner, they're going to look at your tax returns, your adjusted gross income. That's all they care about. What is your adjusted gross income? So business owners have opportunities to write off a lot, which means you don't pay taxes on what you're writing off.
Right.
But at the same time, that's now your income, because you just told the federal government this is actually what you make. So, for instance, you have somebody that's W-2, they have before taxes and after taxes.
Right.
Well, we don't have before and after taxes on businesses unless you pay into the taxes ahead of time.
Right.
But it's going to be according to your adjusted gross income. So with a business owner, just be prepared to have paid your taxes, and you can be on a payment plan to pay your taxes back, but it has to be active, like 12 months in most cases with a business, because they want to categorize that risk according to what your habits are as far as paying your taxes, because that's where you justify your income at. I mean, you do have such things as hard money lenders that allow you to do no income qualifications, but they're going to look at your bank statement. But I don't even advise that, because the person that can get your take your house from you is the IRS. So you don't want to play with them.
Right. Exactly.
You don't want to play with them.
Yeah.
They will make you liquidate your assets.
Yep. Yep. If you owe, definitely. Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this, because you was talking about generational wealth as well, Kim. Someone that may be looking at this, that potentially may be looking to get into real estate investing. Do you have any tips and advice for them if they're looking to get into like investing into real estate per se?
Yeah, well, I'm going to say right now is not the time to really, and I want to sell everybody a house or commercial real estate, but because the price of houses are matching how much you can collect in rent, unless you bought it free of a loan, is not as much as a benefit to you right now, because it's so close and how much rent being collected to what the mortgage is. The rates are lower now for investment loans, but it still matches up where it's not that much of a profit. At the same time, if you have the financial ability to hold on to the property and you really don't need it to be like your only income, then it may be good for you. But if it's a multifamily, now you have more opportunities to collect a monthly rent out of one loan, because you got one loan for this multi-unit. So you probably could make some money out of that. But first-time investors usually buy one unit, buy one single-family property, attached or detached. They'll buy that. Condos are great to buy if they don't have HOAs. Those are good investments as well.
Why they're good to buy if they don't have HOAs in terms of condos?
Because in a condo, you have usually less responsibility to keep it up. Like the outside of the condo is being kept by the HOA, or it's less of a roof you got to take care of, less of siding you got to take care of. But sometimes HOAs cost a bit too much. On average, they could be, if it's a high-rise condo, they can be between $300 and $400 a month. Yeah, or if it's attached townhome or something, it probably could be around like $100 and something. A month. A month. But when I was speaking about generational wealth, I was also thinking about the fact that we have our baby boomers that's passing on right now, and because we weren't taught it wasn't enforced or taught as much about purchasing homes. Like you got to know somebody to really know what you're doing with purchasing a home. So usually first-time buyers don't have an experience to lean back on. So that's the same thing with generational wealth. They don't know how to sell grandmama's house or auntie house that didn't have any children, and in order to do that, everybody started talking about all these trusts and stuff. Most people don't know about a trust, how to address probate if you don't have a will, and it's not that hard. So that's actually where I'm advocating right now in real estate, is helping people to handle their generational wealth. And from the beginning, when you buy a house from me, I already set you up in the beginning to be able to pass it along to your children, your nieces and nephews, or some people like to pass them on to a nonprofit or their college. People, you can do that.
Yeah.
And the asset then becomes whoever you give it to, not only an individual, but also an organization.
Okay. Can you speak a little bit more about trust? And, any educational knowledge you have on trust as a whole? Like, can you speak a little bit more on that?
So, when you're a first-time buyer, and we're just speaking as first-time buyers, if you're a first-time buyer and you're getting a first-time buyer loan like a FHA, FHA doesn't like to see you do trust. They have the right to say that you can put it in the will, because when you put it in a trust, you're taking away FHA rights somewhat to foreclose on you. So Georgia, and every state is different with their real estate laws. Our real estate laws are kind of weak. So it kind of put the lender in a situation when you put it in a trust. They can still get your house, but when you put it in a trust, as well as taxes, like property taxes, it kind of throw our tax commissioner for a loop in Georgia as well. So the trust can sometimes cause a little more issues for a first-time buyer. But if you know that you have multiple family homes, putting it in a trust give an organization to the finances of a family, because it's the family home, and the government can't really touch you. It's the trust. It's the trust. The trust has all liabilities for whatever is in it. So not only do you put a home in a trust, you can put your car in a trust. You can put your bank account in a trust.
Yeah.
And it kind of make that trust become a person that now has the liability opposed to you having the liability.
Gotcha.
And you don't have to go to probate court and deal with all that nonsense in order to move along the business of the family or your personal business.
And can you speak a little bit more, something you had said in reference to people that don't have a will and have a home? What normally happens there, if a person?
So if you don't have a will and you have a home, it becomes the property of the state.
Yeah.
Because you didn't say you was leaving it to anyone.
Yeah.
So that becomes the property of the state. And that's the reason why we have probate court. So then probate court says, is anybody going to be responsible for this property or these things? If not, then we're going to take it, and then the probate court, the government, can decide what to do with those assets. So you have people that buy houses off probate. Yeah. Yeah, or walk up and take responsibility for the estate of John Doe who nobody spoke up for. So probate court is not that hard to manage. And again, that's something that Cox and Company will do and help with when you buy a house from us, is to make sure you understand what those processes are as far as probate. So if you listing out your great aunt house and you don't know how to go about becoming the executive of that estate, or you're in probate court and you need help with navigating that, then we have a team of people to help you do that. Okay. But you have to go through probate court when there's not a will. You got to get a court date. You got to go file documents. The state of Georgia does not help you complete those documents. Now, there are some judges that are running for office, and that's their platform, is that they're going to create opportunities for people to be there at the courthouse to help you file legal documents, which I agree that should be. Right. Definitely. I mean, they can sign a waiver and say, I don't hold you responsible for anything, but there should be something there to advocate for those people who are not aware of legal documents and how to file them to keep this real estate in their family.
Absolutely. Okay. So, Kim, me and you were in, you went to school for political science. What's some things going on right now when it comes to politics and real estate?
So right now, we're entertaining a bill in the Senate, SB Senate Bill 382, which basically says that they're going to phase out our tax exempts or our homestead exemption, which pays into our public school education. And as a matter of fact, it pays into our private school education as well. And that's also included in the House Bill 1114. So these bills allows us to phase it out by 3032. We won't have any property taxes. Well, most people don't understand that a large portion of our property taxes support our public schools.
Right.
And if we're not supporting our public schools, our communities start to fail. Our communities are no longer thriving. Therefore,
Right.
our schools are no longer thriving, and our real estate is no longer thriving.
Yeah.
So, as you may know, in most areas where the schools are failing, you usually have failing real estate as well, except for, those areas we have affluent people that have kids and they send them to the private school.
Right.
Well, they benefit from those property taxes going to the school as well, because they get to have private school vouchers, because they can say, oh, I have this failing school that I don't want to send my child to, so now they get this voucher to send their child to this private school. And it doesn't matter if it's the elementary school is thriving, which is in most cases in the northeast side of Atlanta public schools and DeKalb schools, where they have nice elementary schools that are thriving, but by the time you get to the high schools, some of the high schools are failing, where those families can claim to get that public school money from our property taxes to fund their private school education. Yeah. So right now is really putting real estate in a pickle, because yes, we will be able to lower our monthly payment because now we don't have property taxes. But at the same time, the values will decrease on these properties, and these areas where that's affluent may not be anymore, because you're not providing a equal education to the equal opportunity of businesses thriving in the same area.
Wow. Yeah. So by not paying property taxes, like you're saying, it's basically affecting the educational system. Yeah. Whether it's lower class, middle class, even affluent neighborhoods. Yeah.
That's correct. I don't know, but people just don't realize that the heartbeat of our communities and the value of our properties depend on the schools.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, taking that property taxes away could bite us.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's what's going on right now in politics. It directly affects real estate. Every time we go into session in the state capital of Georgia, I'm there watching, because I want to know who's going to get hit next. What are we approving funding for that's going to influence different communities? And then I can advise my clients that this is where you want to go. This is not where you want to go. And especially with our rural areas, they're really going to be influenced this year by the votes that we have come November. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because our a rural area is kind of the same as having more of our poverty-stricken areas. They don't have the same resources as everybody else.
Right.
Like they don't have the hospitals. They don't have the amenities that a city has.
Right.
And they don't have the voice that a city has. So we have more people that may come out to vote in the city than we may in the rural area. So they don't have a voice to support themselves as much as city does.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of real estate, large pieces of land and stuff that we don't know who owned it and when they owned it. And a lot of time we'll take advantage of that and build things in those communities that the residents, the constituents may not want. Yeah. So a lot of things that's going on right now is in this next election, which is going to be November of this year.
Right.
Is going to affect our rural areas. And I know a lot of people that move to rural areas move there for a reason, because they wanted to be in rural areas, which is fine. And, it's up to you where you want to live.
Right.
But at the same time, I just feel bad about the representation. Sometimes they have the voice they have to represent them and keeping their rural area rural.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Right insights there. Appreciate you sharing, Kim. Definitely. Okay. So what we'll do now is transition, Kim, into some of your community work. Let's talk a little bit about your family community engagement society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Family and Community Engagement Society, FACES, is my second company that I started.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually started that in 2020. Again, I can't sit still.
Yeah.
I started my first company when I was pregnant with my second child.
Mm-hmm.
I started this company during COVID. And it's basically because I was always going to advocate without any company that I was representing or organization that I was representing. I was just that community leader that was at the schools advocating for our communities, or at the Capitol advocating for our communities, or at different educational opportunities for me to advocate. And they always want to know, well, who do you work for, or who do you represent? And it was like, well, I'm really a real estate broker. Even though that makes a lot of sense, that if you're selling real estate, you know what's going on in the community.
Right.
Most people didn't think that.
Yeah.
So then I started Family Community Engagement Society, and I started educating parents on how to advocate for their students in the school, because you want to have a great school system.
Right.
And then I also started helping the communities to advocate for them as well. So not only do you have your parents that's advocating at the school for you, but you have people in the community that may not have any children at all that learn how to advocate for these same students. Because again, without great schools, you won't have thriving communities. Without thriving communities, you won't have thriving real estate.
Right.
So it circled back to what I was doing anyway.
Exactly.
And again, being that I went to school for political science, I just had that mindset that I always want to be a part of a community, always creating and maintaining and supporting a community. Not only the community that I live in, but also the community that I grew up in, that's two different cities that's a world apart.
Right.
So I've seen what communities can develop into, and how communities can maintain what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you say advocating for students, well, you say the parents
Yes.
of the students in terms of the educational system. Can you elaborate a little bit more on advocating?
Yes. So I actually had a contract with Atlanta Public Schools where I was teaching the parent liaisons, which is the advocate for the parent that's hired by the school that is located in the school.
Okay.
And they had things called parent centers. So I actually received a contract with Atlanta Public School to do that through my company, Family and Community Engagement Society. I also did classes as well with Family First, which helps people who are adopting kids to understand that it's not just the school responsibility to give your child the best educational experience. It's also the parents' responsibility. It's also the community responsibility. If this school is in your district and you have a small business, or you have a large business that's nationwide, it is your responsibility to support that school. And in supporting that school, you're supporting the students that may come back and work for you. It's full circle.
True.
It's full circle.
Yeah.
Full circle. So when I say advocate, teaching parents how to advocate, teaching community how to advocate for our future, which is our young people, our students that attend our public school and our private school. And a lot of people don't know that we also have a lot of homeschoolers. And I also have done classes for homeschool organizations that support those people that made a choice to keep their kids at home and educate them there. Your educational experience is one way that you can propel your children ahead. My mother was always about making sure that we're going to go to school. She made sure we had two things: education, however we can get it, and God.
There you go.
Having a relationship with God. Those are two things. So if you don't have nothing in your back pocket and you can give your child Jordans, get them a good education. And they can get a good education even at a failing school. You have to make it do what you need it to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay. All right. Great stuff. Great stuff. All right. Well, I can say this, Kim. This has been a great conversation. I've learned some things as well through this conversation. Got some insights myself. I'm pretty sure our audience as well has gotten some takeaways and learned some things from this conversation. Definitely appreciate you. I think we're going to have you on again, Kim, give us some updates especially when it comes to things in regards to real estate and even what you're doing in the community.
Yes,
Definitely have to have you back. And what you can do at this time, Kim, is just sharing information of those that are actually tuned into this episode wanting to connect with you or find you or contact you in any form or fashion in regards to anything with real estate or what you're even doing in the community. How can they connect with it?
So my direct email address is Owens, Owens, Kim, Kim, Cox, Cox like an X-ray, @gmail.com. So that's Owens, Kim Cox @gmail.com. You can email me there. I would love the opportunity to work with organizations, families, even people that are interested in becoming a real estate agent or getting in any facet of real estate. There's several different ways to be involved in real estate without being a real estate agent. Help people to do that, and definitely to help create a culture in your community where you're going to have thriving families, you're going to have thriving real estate, thriving schools, which creates a thriving community.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. So there it is. You heard it from Kim Cox Owens. Definitely, once again, thank you for coming on, Kim. And being you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Also, if you love this episode, which I know you did, make sure you bang the like button. Also, drop any of your takeaways from this episode with Kim in the comment section. We'll definitely love to hear from you. And feel free to share this episode with anyone else you feel could benefit. And we're here on YouTube. But if you also listen to Apple or Spotify, the Rise of the 1% podcast, we're there as well in terms of audio. You can check us out there, give us a 5-star rating. And besides that, we'll definitely look forward to seeing you on the next Rise of the 1% podcast episode. Have a phenomenal one on purpose. Hello, this is G Bass, Rise of the 1%, Rise Media. We on this Saturday evening about to get ready to knock out some podcast episodes with some individuals here in the city of Atlanta making some big moves. You can see here, look, this is how it goes down. Here when our guests come and sit down with myself, G Bass, other Rise of 1% of Rise Media, to have that conversation, to share the story, share the journey, share what you got going on. So listen, everybody got a story, everybody got a journey. And then you got some things going on, then you definitely can get with us and see if it'll be a fit to be on the Rise of 1% podcast and actually have that discussion with myself. It's going to be a link to a form for you to fill out. You said www.theriseofthe1%.com/pod form. Again, www.theriseofthe1%.com/pod form. It's going to be in this video. You can fill that out. And we can see if it'll be a fit for you to come on and have that conversation with myself. If you don't fill out the form, then obviously it's not for you, and that's fine. We're looking for those that's serious. Those that's serious about rising to the top 1% are already in the 1%. That's what we're looking to sit down with myself right here. As you can see, Rise Media. Rise of the 1%. This is how we get down. We have a great time and have a lot of fun doing it. So once again, if you're serious, make sure you fill out the form. We'll look over the form, see if it's a fit. If it's a fit, we'll reach out. If not, we won't reach out. We'll just continue to move forward. But with that said, this is G Bass. See you soon. Have a great one on purpose.